Glad to know you're still with us. The Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau is probing an incident involving an Arik Air Boeing 7377GL on February 11, 2026, en route Lagos to Port Harcourt with about 80 passengers. The crew detected abnormal indications and a loud bang from the left engine during descent, prompting a precautionary shutdown and safe diversion to Benin Airport. No injuries occurred, but preliminary visuals show significant engine damage. To unpack this now, I am joined by Olumide Ohunayo, General Secretary, Aviation Safety Roundtable Initiative. Thank you so much for joining me today, sir.
Good morning.
All right, and I also have joining me for this Mazi Engr Nnamdi Udoh, Aviation Safety Consultant. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
All right, so let me begin with you, Mr. Ohunayo. From your experience, what are the most common causes of in-flight engine anomalies or failures of this nature?
Well, what you have here, it's shown by the cowling of that engine pulled out, and in the process, it flew all over with that high speed, and some were ingested by the engine itself. That's why it affected the blades, and while some had also touched part of the vertical stabilizer. Luckily, it was not too. The damage wasn't too much, so therefore the pilot was able to manage to proceed to Benin to land the aircraft. And this is not about Nigerian aviation now. This happened with the South African Southwest Airlines, same aircraft, the Boeing 737-700. Whereby in their own case, they had one fatality. We landed with all the passengers coming out and their crew without any injuries. But for the Southwest Airline, those parts from that cowling hit the fuselage, one of the windows in the fuselage, and had almost sucked a passenger halfway. That passenger that was sucked halfway died, and some passengers inside the aircraft were also injured. So it's something that it's an accident in the industry, and I think it's something that the manufacturer of that engine need to look into critically again. Now that has happened, because the one of Southwest happened in 2018, and here we are in 2026. It has happened in Nigeria. I think. For that engine, that's a non-containment engine issue there, and that was really risky. But thank God, the crew and the aircraft landed safely, and our passengers came out safely.
All right, thank you, Mr. Udoh. Well, thank you. You're with me. So tell us, what do you think?
Well, my position is simple in aviation. Decline does not always announce itself. Decline comes gradually, and it doesn't come with a loud voice. In my opinion, when this kind of a thing happens, we begin to look at the aircraft, the engine, like my good brother and friend had said. Yes, it could be an engine issue, but have we looked at management? Have we looked at the decline, failure to provide for maintenance, failure to provide for critical NCA requirements for oversight? There are many things we have to look at. So in this particular development, I've chosen not to look at the technical issues. I want to begin to look at other issues that we don't investigate. We know what Arik has been. We know where they are coming from. Can we look at Arik as a management? Where have they been in the last 10 years? Where are they today? So I congratulate the captain for being quite professional. I congratulate NCA. I congratulate NSIB. Nobody is calling on anyone for failure to do the right thing. But I think we should go beyond this now to look at the issues that will lead gradually to what has happened.
Oh, that's quite interesting. You know, from what you're saying, I might be wrong, but what I'm hearing is you're looking at the likelihood of maybe issues around maintenance or something. Is that what you're saying?
Not just issue around maintenance. The issues that lead to maintenance. Maintenance requires spares, requires professional aircraft maintenance engineers, requires due diligence to meet up critical requirements before it happens in terms of license renewal, recurrent training, etc., that requires finance, that requires management decision to provide for those things. Now everybody now, every of our ideas will be now focused on what did the pilot do wrong, what did the engineer do wrong, what did the aircraft do out of design expectations. So for me, let us look at what leads to these things on a daily basis. It's a gap. But every day there's a gap, second day there's a gap. The third time, fourth time, fifth time it happens, there's an accident. And we begin to look at the accident as it is.
All right. So what steps should investigators prioritize in, establishing the root cause? Because I'm hearing two things here. On the one hand, Mr. Ohunayo feels that we need to interrogate the manufacturers of the engine, saying this has happened before, and we need to know what exactly is the issue. But on your own, from your own perspective, I mean, you have another perspective. So how do we balance all of this? What else should the investigators look at? Let me begin with you, Mr. Ohunayo.
Well, like Mazi said, Mazi has touched on looking at the engine itself, which is always the first thing that should be the priority of the NSIB, the maintenance of that engine, and if all processes and procedure were adhered to by the owners of the airline and the engineering department, and I think that's the first thing you expect that would happen as NSIB get there. But I want to look at another perspective. Like I said, I don't want to go back to. I don't want to face all them. I don't put that point on Arik on this incident alone. Now, when it happened 2018, Southwest Airlines, same aircraft engine, there's some airworthiness directive that was given for owners of such aircraft and engine to adhere to correct. It was this airworthiness directive implemented in Nigeria. Was directive taken on board here and implemented, and airlines having that same aircraft that Arik had already asked to do the same thing, to do that check. I think we should start from there. Then again, like Mazi said, the next stage will not be what really happened. And then in knowing what happened, this time around, I think they need to go beyond just investigating the scene alone. I think that engine should be taken out for complete tear down and to see what really went wrong and how we can prevent a reoccurrence. That is very important to me. But by and large, I still want to congratulate the crew, like Mazi said. I congratulate the crew. I congratulate the airline, said that they were able to manage it. That was something that could have been fatal if that vertical stabilizer or horizontal stabilizer or any of or even the route that had been destroyed by that by those flying debris, or if even the fuselage was torn and maybe the fuel line or any of the system was affected, it had been more catastrophic. But we thank God that was not the case, and the pilots acted quickly. Rather than continue the journey to Port Harcourt, he chose the nearest airport to land.
Right. Now, let me come to you, sir. Do you think this incident could have any operational, regulatory, or even reputational implications for the airline involved, or for the aviation sector more broadly? Mazi.
Yes. Let it be said. It could, but for me, let us wait for the after investigation to conclude its work. It will be preemptive now to begin to say something about the investigation or what impact it will have on the airline. And I don't disagree with Olumide, and he doesn't disagree with me. It's just another requirement for the investigation to take place. They have to look at management, financial life of the airline, and the day-to-day operational life of the airline. So it could have an impact, it might not have, but looking at it generally, it's a whole lot, it's a chain of a problem that has taken place, and they must begin to look at it link after link.
Right. Now, some observers argue that, incidents like this strengthen the case for fleet renewal. Do you agree? And should Nigeria consider introducing clearer policies or benchmarks on aircraft age and renewal for operators? Mr. Ohunayo.
Well, technically, an aircraft is deemed airworthy when certain indices are met. there's a principle for management of aging aircraft. So if an aircraft is a year old, there is a maintenance program. If an aircraft is 10, 20, there's always a maintenance program. So we don't categorically judge safety of an aircraft because of its age. Of course, the requirement for fleet renewal is based on the policy of the airline and also regulatory requirements of a country. So no country will sign a certificate of airworthiness when an aircraft is not airworthy. So for that, it's neither here nor there to use aircraft age to judge the safety expectation of an aircraft.
All right. Mr. Ohunayo, can I get your thoughts on that?
I totally agree with Mazi there. Aircraft, irrespective of the age, all have maintenance requirements, schedules that should be adhered to, and the regulator should ensure that is done. Moreover, we've seen aircraft that are 2-year-old that have had crashes and accidents, fatal accidents, and we still have aircraft that are 43 years and above and that are still flying. So age is not really, it's not a requirement for safety, but just what it does is that it increases the cost of maintenance and operating such aircraft. But you see, aviation is safe. That's what we want to push out to the world and the public, irrespective of what has happened. Aviation is safe. The aircrafts that you see that are flying are built with different layers of protection for you to land safely, for the alternate system to kick in if one fails. The pilots are trained, certified, and even how to do check rides to meet with this to show this extreme professionalism. And this is one of that was what was exhibited on that flight. So let Nigerians know that the aviation is safe. The regulators are in place, and checks that are necessary checks and maintenance are also in place. But like in all endeavors, there's always an accident. Or once there's an accident, not like every other, but in aviation, you must investigate, to ensure that there will be no reoccurrence, and that is the stage we are right now.
That's quite interesting. I'd like us to close this conversation with this. Let's recall that in 2024, the Federal Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development signed an MOU with Boeing focused on fleet modernization, MRO development, and capacity building. From what you can see, is this agreement being meaningfully implemented? Let me begin with you, Mazi.
Well, the agreement has just been signed. All the aspects of the agreement is expected to impact positively on the industry. It's execution that is important. And don't forget, those agreements, they don't come for free. They are not cheap. Aircraft renewal, maintenance, support, space, they cost money. So airlines also must continuously and diligently have financial prudence, proper corporate governance structure, where there will be financial discipline, where there will be management discipline, etc. Yes, we congratulate the minister, and like every minister that comes into aviation, they always come with the vigor and strength to work hard. The industry has always been blessed with brilliant and smart working Nigerians, but the end result will always tell us what they've done. So let's hope that airlines will plug into the minister's effort to benefit from those MOUs, and we expect more Nigerians to fly safer, more aircraft, more routes, and business will continue to grow in the sector.
Thank you so much. Mr. Ohunayo, let's get your parting shot on that.
Well, for me, I'm not too excited about that signing agreement with Boeing. I can tell you, in my short space in the industry, to Mazi, I've seen more about 3 or 4 different organizations and government bringing Boeing here to sign such agreements, and at the end of the after signing that agreement, everybody go their way, and the status quo remains. It's fine that the airlines are still going to look for organizations where they can lease aircraft from, and just like the last signing of the Brazilian bilateral services agreement, there was so much excitement in the media, and I was wondering that as we all here, we've seen that many times we've signed with Brazil, and there's no flight that's operated in the last 20 years. So that has been signed. The airlines, as of last two weeks ago, they were still in Dublin looking for organizations that will lease aircraft to Nigerian operators. So I think we will not rest on ours. Also, we just keep making efforts to see where we can get good bargains for the airline. We are not buying in bulk. Our orders are always 3, 4. So when you will not leave people who order 40 aircraft or 100 aircraft and come and sit down with you that order only 1 or 2. It's all about business, big business, and what makes the market, what hits the bottom line. So we just have to continue making efforts, not necessarily going to make the big players, but see whether we can start from the small lessors, get aircraft, and keep our reputation. What happened that was the Christmas break was not palatable. 2 of the airlines in Nigeria lost. One airline lost about 4 aircraft to lessors who will do them. Then the other one, the smaller operator, who lost 2 aircraft that was taken by the lessors. There's about 6 aircraft. Those aircraft that were taken away were part of the crisis we had in December, and where demand could not, the way supply, could not meet demand, and that was why the tickets were skyrocketing, and it had nothing to do with charges or the taxes. That was not increased. It was because the capacity in the market was not able to meet the demand, and I think we should. That is what we should work on. And then people are already calling. If the private airlines are not doing it alone, then the government should find a way of participating in the air transport industry by helping in setting up an airline.
Thank you so much, Olumide Ohunayo, General Secretary, Aviation Safety Roundtable Initiative. Thank you for your time on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
And Mr. Nnamdi Udoh, Aviation Safety Consultant, thank you also for coming on the show today and for sharing your thoughts with us.